How's it going, everybody? Let's talk about something with Valorant. I'm not gonna talk about how much utility damage Raze can do or how Sage is so OP with the reses and heals. It's the way the game picks what maps you're going to play. Now, before we go any further, I'm gonna state this: I have zero actual information from Riot Games on how the map selection works, and I'm basing this off of my own personal research. Alright, so now let's talk about the map selection on Valorant. You have 3 maps at the moment, soon to be 4, and if we're using basic probability, the chances of getting 1 in 3 maps should be 33%. Now, when you're reading like that, it sounds like a great thing. I should play the game, and each day I have a 33% chance to get Bind, Haven, and Split. Now, what happens after your first game is done? Are my chances of playing the other maps increase afterwards? Am I guaranteed to play Split or Haven after playing on Bind? The answer is no. And the information is a little bit more different than what you might expect. So I've been collecting some data to figure out how the map selection works. A bit difficult if I were to just use my own statistics. So what I did was search up some Valorant streamers who've been playing the game since release. Keep the data somewhat consistent. I selected people who were diamond and above, streamed on the same day as each other, and played nearly 40 to 50 games throughout a 5-day period. 4 streamers I selected for this test are Shazam, Hiko, Lasky, and myself. I'm doing this so we can see if there's any correlation between players regarding what maps they play, such as are we all playing Haven for 50% of our games on the 24th of May, or is it random per person? The first will be my own experience. The second is from Shazam, who's a former CSGO professional who at the moment is currently signed to an upcoming professional Valorant team called the Sentinels. Third is from Hiko, an ex-former CSGO professional who has been playing Valorant since its release, and in his stream teaches viewers tips and tricks on how to play the game and also how to improve. The final streamer I included is a streamer called Lasky, a CSGO FPL player who is now switching over to Valorant. I highly recommend checking each one of them out if you're interested in seeing some high-level gameplay and also a very chill stream environment. So, let's check out the data I collected. As you can see from my statistics, there's only been one day where I played each map a decent amount. For the most part, you'll see that I ended up playing one map majority of the time. On the 20th, the 21st, the 23rd, and 24th, I played Haven for over 50% of my games. Now, I don't have an issue with Haven. I think it's a good map and it's fun, especially when you play with friends. But having played Haven 6 out of 10 games can be really mind-numbing. If you look on the 24th, I only played Haven and Split and didn't even get a chance to play Bind once. Alright, so let's move on to Shazam. As you see, on 2 specific days, the 20th and 24th, he played one map over 60% of the time each day. On the 20th, he played Haven for 62% of his day, which comes out to 5 games out of 8. On the 24th, however, he played Haven only 22% of the day, but did end up playing Split 66% of the time on that same day. For the rest of the days, he ended up playing 2 maps around the same amount of times, and then the third map played less than 20% of those days. This might sound confusing when I'm saying with percentages, but to put it in simpler terms, he played Split twice out of 13 games, but played Bind over 3 times as much, which ended up being nearly half of his day on one same map. Not sure about how you guys feel about Bind, but get pretty mind-numbing to play one map over and over and over again. Now we can go on to Hiko. As you can see that on 3 of the 5 days he played, he ended up playing Bind for 50% or more of his day, and one day didn't even get a chance to play Haven. The final person, Lasky, seemed to played at least one map either half or more than half of his matches every single day. If you look at the data on each individual day, it seems that the map selection system is broken and not allowing players to play a fair amount of each map every single day they play. I was almost convinced that this was a really poor design flaw, but then I looked at the data as a whole and averaged it out over the 5-day course, and I was able to find out more information that was hidden. If you look at my statistics again and average out each map playtime, I did play Haven 50% of the time, I played Split for 30, and I played Bind nearly 20% of the course. I then looked at everyone else's information and I found that Shazam, Hiko, and Lasky actually had a near even split on all 3 maps. Shazam had the preferred data where he played each map between 30-35%. Hiko, on the other hand, played Bind for 46% of the week, and Haven and Split were nearly 25% of the time each. All while Lasky had results closer to Shazam's, where each map he played accounted for a third of his total playtime. You might think that my data is still inconsistent due to my own personal result, but there's one key factor of my data that I left out. Each one of these streamers, except for me, had most of their streams on during one day, not overlapping onto another, where as my games would start on the 20th, and I actually might end up on the 21st, and then restart again at the night. I'm confident that if I played on individual days and not overlap, I'd probably have similar results to them. Now, some of you are probably thinking, okay, what's the point of this video? I'm not going to sit here and compare Valorant to Counter-Strike, which has individual map picking, but also has a much larger map selection, even when you compare them both at launch. We also can't sit here and compare it to other games like Call of Duty and Overwatch, which have completely randomized map selections, being that those games also have over 10 plus maps each one, which means the chance of you getting one map is going to be 10% or less. The point of this video is to bring light to Riot Games to something that they probably plan on improving or might not even know is an issue. With Valorant getting one more map on release date, we now have 4 maps for the games to choose from. It's great that over the course of 5 days, most players are able to play all 3 maps evenly, but what does that do for the casual players who only play 3 games a day? For all 4 of us, we all played nearly 4 to 9 hours a day, but for the casual gamer, they might only have a chance to play 1 to 2 hours. If it's annoying for me to play Haven 6 times in one day, and the next day have to play Haven 5 more times, while playing 1 or 2 maps in between, what happens to the casual player that only plays 3 games and all 3 of them are Haven on one day, and the next day end up playing Haven for his remaining 2 games that he can only play? I'm pretty sure they'd be even more annoyed than I would. I'm not gonna sit here and scream at Riot Games and tell them to just fix their game and hopefully, it gets fixed. So I sat down and did some thinking about what could be done to help this out. And I came up with 3 ideas. One of them might be impossible to do. The second is similar to another game. And the third is just very basic but pretty boring. We'll start out with the most boring idea. And that every server is on a 30-minute map rotation period. So that might sound a little confusing, so I'll explain more in detail. At 8 p.m., you queue up with your friends, and everyone queuing from 8 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. will only play Haven. But 30 minutes later, at exactly 8:30 to 9 p.m., all available servers switch over to Bind, and it will continue the process until it does a full map rotation. Now, this seems like an okay idea, but then you also get the downside if people don't want to play Split, they're forced to wait 30 minutes to play their game, which could cause a problem. A second idea that is similar to Counter-Strike is to have a map selection for each party. Now, I don't mean exactly like Counter-Strike where you pick what map you want to play, like Dust 2, and play the map 24/7 because that's your favorite map. I mean, you'd be able to ban one map, such as Bind, and then your party's map pool will only consist of Haven and Split. If you ever got tired playing those 2 maps back to back, you can just ban Haven and bring Bind back to your map pool and take your chances on that. So the purpose of this is for the players in the community that played Haven 2 or 3 times in a row and just want something new. You now can remove the chance of playing that map again. Of course, this can promote the issue of players just banning one map all the time and increasing the queue time for the people who have that map on. But it can also help the developers realize that people aren't playing Split that much or don't like Split that much and want it to be updated. And it can also help the community out. Of course, this is me just saying that. This sounds really difficult for me to say, but I need to put it out there because it was an idea I did think of. Riot Games, if you do end up seeing this video, please take it into consideration for when the game actually releases. I love the game, I love the agents, and I like the maps pretty much. And I hope to see this game continue to grow. Thanks. Hey, I just want to give a quick shout out to a streamer called Veritas. Without his help, I actually think that this video probably would have been worse. And with different information that I showed now, reached out to him and he was actually able to help me get some more insight on all the data collected. So really appreciate it, man. Thank you for all the help you do. I highly recommend you guys check him out. He plays a lot of Escape from Tarkov, and he's actually really good at it. He does a lot of videos on it too. So check out his YouTube channel, and also check out his stream. I'll link it in the description below. Hey guys, I just want to say something before I go. The reason why the maps are probably like this is that maybe Riot Games need some testing and they want to try to see how the servers can handle certain people on Haven or a certain amount of people on Bind. Or maybe they just need to do further testing that we just can't see. So please don't get mad at them that during closed beta, one day you ended up playing only Split and Haven, or another day you only ended up playing Bind and Split. I also need to go get some ice cream. Bye.